I need to be honest with you. I have been prepping for over a decade, and there is something that drives me absolutely crazy about the prepping community. Everyone is buying the exact same stuff. Walk into any prepper's pantry, and you will see the same rice, the same beans, the same canned goods. And you know what happens when a crisis hits? That stuff vanishes in hours. But there are 13 staples I have been quietly stocking that most preppers never even look at. And here is the crazy part. They are cheaper. They last longer. And during the last shortage, they were sitting fully stocked while everything else was gone. Number 9 on this list costs less than $1 per pound and has kept civilizations alive through famines. Number 4 has been used for 3,000 years and nobody ever mentions it. And when I tell you about number 11, you are going to kick yourself for not knowing about it sooner. If you want to learn what smart preppers are actually stocking, hit that subscribe button right now, because this is information you will not find on mainstream prepping channels. Let me tell you what happened in 2020 that changed everything for me. I watched people fight over toilet paper and rice. Shelves were empty. But you know what was still there the next week? Every single item I'm about to share with you. Let's get into it. Number 1 is popcorn kernels. Yeah, you heard me right. Popcorn kernels. Before you click away thinking this is ridiculous, let me blow your mind with some facts. Popcorn kernels are whole grain corn that lasts 10 to 15 years when stored in airtight containers. But here is what makes them brilliant for prepping. They are dirt cheap. I'm talking 50 cents per pound at bulk stores. Compare that to freeze-dried corn at $20 per can. The calorie density is serious. 1 cup of kernels makes about 8 cups of popped corn, and that is roughly 400 calories. In a survival situation, you need calories to function, and popcorn delivers. But wait, it gets better. You do not have to pop them. You can grind popcorn kernels into cornmeal for bread, cook them whole like hominy, or even sprout them for fresh greens. I discovered this versatility by accident last year during a camping trip. I brought popcorn kernels thinking we would pop them over the fire. But then I experimented. I boiled them for an hour, added some salt, and they turned into this chewy, filling meal similar to corn nuts. My kids love them. Here is the storage hack. Buy kernels in bulk, transfer them into food-grade buckets with oxygen absorbers, and they will outlast almost everything in your pantry. I personally keep 40 pounds. It cost me about $20 total. That is thousands of servings. And here is what nobody thinks about. During shortages, people panic buy canned corn. But popcorn kernels, they sit there untouched because people do not make the connection. It is the same corn, just in a more shelf-stable, affordable form. Number 2 is whole oats, not instant oatmeal packets. I am talking about whole oat groats. These are oats in their complete unprocessed form. When stored properly, they last 30 years. Let that sink in. 3 decades of shelf-stable nutrition. The instant oatmeal everyone stocks, that goes rancid within a year because of the processing. But whole oats keep their oils locked inside the hull, protecting them from oxidation. I learned about this from a farmer who grows oats. He told me his grandfather stored oats in barrels in the 1940s, and they found some in the barn in the 1980s, still perfectly edible. Here's why this matters for your stockpile. Oats are a complete source of fiber, protein, and slow-release energy. In a crisis, your digestive system is under stress from diet changes. Oats keep everything functioning properly. But the versatility is where this really shines. You can cook them as porridge, grind them into flour for baking, sprout them for fresh nutrition, or even feed them to livestock if you have chickens or rabbits. I keep 50 pounds of whole oats in 5-gallon buckets with oxygen absorbers. It cost me about $35. That is enough breakfast for my family for 6 months minimum. Storage is simple: food-grade buckets, oxygen absorbers, and a cool, dry location. That is it. And when everyone else is fighting over instant oatmeal that will be stale in a year, you have got 3 decades of nutrition waiting. Number 3 is pickling salt. This one is going to surprise you, but it is absolutely critical. Pickling salt is pure salt with no additives, no iodine, no anti-caking agents, just pure sodium chloride. And it lasts forever. Literally forever. Archaeologists have found salt thousands of years old that is still perfectly usable. But here is why preppers need this specific type. Regular table salt has additives that break down over time and can cause discoloration in preserved foods. Pickling salt stays pure. In a long-term situation, salt is not just for flavor. It is essential for food preservation, curing meat, making jerky, pickling vegetables, and even for medical uses like saline solutions. I had a wake-up call 2 years ago when I tried to cure some fish with regular table salt. The additives turned everything gray and gave it an off taste. It was inedible. I lost 10 pounds of fish. After that, I switched to pickling salt and never looked back. Here is the economics. A 4-pound box of pickling salt costs about $5. I keep 20 pounds in my stockpile. That is a lifetime supply for food preservation. Compare that to those expensive canning and preserving kits that run $50 or more. Storage is dead simple. Keep it in its original container or transfer to mason jars. It does not need oxygen absorbers or special treatment. Salt is salt. And here is something most preppers miss. Salt is a barter item. Throughout history, salt has been so valuable that Roman soldiers were paid in salt. That is where the word salary comes from. In a collapse scenario, salt becomes currency. Number 4 is dried lentils. This is one of those foods that has kept entire civilizations alive, yet modern preppers overlook it constantly. Dried lentils cook faster than any other dried bean. We are talking 20 minutes with no pre-soaking required. In a fuel-limited situation, that is massive. But the nutrition is what really matters. Lentils pack 18 grams of protein per cup. They are loaded with fiber, iron, and folate, and they are one of the most complete plant-based proteins available. I did not appreciate lentils until I talked to a guy who spent 2 years doing humanitarian work in areas with food scarcity. He told me lentils were the backbone of survival because they provided maximum nutrition with minimum cooking fuel. That conversation changed my entire approach. The variety is another advantage. You have got red lentils that cook down into a creamy dale, green lentils that hold their shape for salads and soups, and black lentils that have this rich, earthy flavor. This variety prevents food fatigue. Here is my personal experience. During a week-long power outage, I made lentil soup on a camp stove. It took 25 minutes total and fed my family a nutritious, filling meal. The next night, I made red lentil curry. Same ingredient, completely different meal. Lentils are cheap. I am talking 80 cents to $1 per pound at most grocery stores. I keep 30 pounds in sealed containers. That is about $30 for months of protein. Storage is simple. Keep them in airtight containers in a cool, dark place. They will last 5 to 10 years easily. Some sources say up to 20 years. And during shortages, lentils are always available. People rush for canned beans, but dried lentils sit on shelves fully stocked. Number 5 is bouillon paste. This is different from bouillon cubes, and honestly, it is superior in every way. Bouillon paste comes in a jar and is a concentrated flavor base that lasts for years after opening and decades unopened. Here is why this is genius. 1 teaspoon of paste equals 1 cup of broth, but the flavor is dramatically better than cubes. It dissolves instantly in hot water, and you can adjust the strength to your preference. But here is what changed my mind about this. During a long-term test of my stockpile, I ate rice and beans for 2 weeks. By day 10, I wanted to quit. Everything tasted like cardboard. Then I stirred in half a teaspoon of bouillon paste while cooking rice. The transformation was instant. It tasted like restaurant quality food. My wife actually asked if I had added butter. Nope, just paste. The psychology of food during crisis cannot be overstated. When morale drops, people make bad decisions. But good tasting food keeps spirits up and brains functioning. Bouillon paste is your secret weapon for making bland stockpile food actually edible. I keep 6 jars of different flavors: chicken, beef, and vegetable. Each jar contains about 40 servings and costs around $8. That is 240 meals transformed for less than $50. Compare that to expensive, freeze-dried meals at $12 each. Storage is simple. Keep it in a cool, dark place. Once opened, it lasts about 2 years in the pantry or indefinitely in the fridge. But honestly, you will use it long before then because it makes everything taste better. Number 6 is vital wheat gluten. This is pure protein extracted from wheat, and it is one of the most overlooked prep foods ever. When mixed with water, it becomes seitan, which has the texture of meat. But here is the kicker. Vital wheat gluten is 75% protein by weight. That is higher than any meat. 1/4 cup provides 23 grams of complete protein. In a scenario where meat is unavailable or unaffordable, this becomes absolutely critical. Let me share a story. I have a friend who went through a severe financial crisis a few years back. He was living on $20 a week for food. He bought vital wheat, gluten, rice, and beans. He told me the wheat gluten saved him because it provided the protein and texture his body was craving. He mixed it with spices, shaped it into patties, and pan-fried them. It kept him sane and healthy. The shelf life is incredible. Stored in an airtight container, it lasts up to 10 years. And the versatility is wild. You can make seitan steaks, grind it into mock ground meat, slice it thin for stir fries, or even add it to bread for extra protein. I keep 10 pounds in my stockpile. It cost me about $40. That is enough protein to supplement meals for over a year. And during shortages, nobody thinks to buy this stuff. It is always in stock at health food stores and online. Number 7 is black salt, also called kala namak. This is a type of volcanic rock salt used in South Asian cooking. It has a distinctive sulfurous smell that might seem weird at first, but here is why it is brilliant for preppers. Black salt has natural minerals that regular salt does not: iron, magnesium, and trace sulfates that support digestion. But the real magic is this: it makes vegan food taste like eggs. Seriously, the sulfur compounds in black salt mimic the taste of eggs. In a scenario where eggs are unavailable, you can make tofu scrambles, egg-free salads, and other dishes that taste surprisingly close to the real thing. I discovered this by accident when trying to use up some tofu before it went bad. I crumbled it, added black salt and turmeric, and fried it up. My daughter, who hates tofu, ate 2 servings and asked if I had used eggs. Nope, just black salt. This is about morale and comfort food. When you are eating stockpile food for weeks, anything that tastes familiar is psychologically powerful. The cost is low. A bag of black salt runs about $6 and lasts for months. I keep 2 bags in my spice stockpile. Storage is the same as regular salt. Airtight container in a cool, dry place. It lasts indefinitely. You can find it at Indian grocery stores or online. And trust me, when you need it, you will be glad you stocked it. Number 8 is palm sugar. This is unrefined sugar made from palm tree sap, and it has been used in Southeast Asia for thousands of years. Here is why it matters for prepping. Palm sugar lasts for years without hardening or clumping like regular sugar. It has a lower glycemic index, meaning it does not spike your blood sugar as dramatically, and it contains minerals like potassium and magnesium that refined sugar does not. But here is the real reason I stock it. In a high-stress survival situation, your body craves quick energy. Sugar provides that. But refined white sugar crashes your energy levels hard. Palm sugar gives you energy without the crash. I learned this from a long-distance runner who used palm sugar during ultramarathons. He told me it provided sustained energy without the jitters or crashes of regular sugar or energy gels. I tried it during a 10-mile hike, and he was right. The difference was noticeable. I keep 5 pounds in sealed jars. It cost me about $20. That is enough sweetener for months of cooking and baking. You can use it in coffee, tea, baking, or even dissolve it in water for a quick energy drink. And during shortages, while everyone fights over white sugar, palm sugar sits fully stocked in Asian grocery stores. Number 9 is millet. This is a tiny grain that most Americans have never heard of, but it feeds over 1/3 of the world's population. And there is a reason for that. Millet is drought resistant, pest resistant, and lasts up to 5 years in storage without any special treatment. But here is what makes it perfect for preppers. It is naturally gluten-free, cooks in just 20 minutes, and has a mild, slightly nutty flavor that works in both sweet and savory dishes. I stumbled on millet while researching ancient grains. Turns out it has been cultivated for over 7,000 years because it is one of the most resilient crops on Earth. If it can survive 7,000 years of human history, it belongs in my stockpile. The nutrition is solid, high in magnesium, which most people are deficient in, loaded with B vitamins for energy, and packed with fiber for digestive health. Here is how I use it. Cook it like rice for a side dish. Use it as porridge for breakfast. Grind it into flour for gluten-free baking, or even pop it like popcorn for a crunchy snack. I keep 20 pounds in sealed buckets. It cost me about $25. That is months of versatile grain for less than 1 trip to a restaurant. Storage is easy. Keep it in airtight containers in a cool, dry place. It will last for years without going rancid like other grains. Number 10 is canned tomato paste. This one sounds boring, but it is secretly one of the most valuable items in my stockpile. Here is why. Tomato paste is concentrated nutrition. 1 small can contains more lycopene, a powerful antioxidant, than a dozen fresh tomatoes. It is loaded with vitamin C, potassium, and natural umami flavor that makes everything taste better. But the versatility is where this really shines. Add it to soups for richness, mix it with water to make tomato sauce, stir it into rice for Spanish-style dishes, or even use it as a base for stews and curries. I had a revelation during a 2-week pantry challenge. where I only ate what I had stored. By day 8, everything tasted bland and boring. Then I started adding a tablespoon of tomato paste to dishes. Instant transformation. The umami depth made meals taste complex and satisfying. The shelf life is excellent. Canned tomato paste lasts 3 to 5 years, sometimes longer. I personally have cans that are 4 years old, and they are still perfect. I keep about 50 cans. They cost roughly 80 cents each, so about $40 total. That is 50 meals upgraded for the cost of 2 freeze-dried entrees. Storage is simple. Keep them in a cool, dry place, rotate stock by expiration date, and you are set. And during shortages, while everyone grabs canned whole tomatoes, tomato paste sits untouched because people do not realize how versatile it is. Number 11 is nutritional yeast. Yeah, I know this sounds like hippie food, but hear me out because this is a game changer. Nutritional yeast is deactivated yeast that tastes cheesy and nutty. It is loaded with B vitamins, especially B12, which is critical for energy and brain function, and it is a complete protein with all 9 essential amino acids. Here is what sold me. During a power outage last winter, we were eating a lot of plain rice and canned vegetables. By day 5, my kids were complaining nonstop. I sprinkled nutritional yeast on their rice, and suddenly they were asking for seconds. The cheesy flavor completely changed the meal. But it is not just about flavor. Nutritional yeast is packed with nutrients that are hard to get from typical prepper foods. 2 tablespoons give you 8 grams of protein and a full day's worth of B vitamins. In a crisis, when your diet is limited, this kind of nutritional density is priceless. I keep 5 pounds in sealed jars. It cost me about $45. That is months of flavor and nutrition. You can sprinkle it on popcorn, stir it into soups, mix it into mashed potatoes, or even make cheese sauces with it. Storage is easy. Keep it in an airtight container in a cool, dark place. It lasts up to 2 years, and here is the best part. During shortages, nutritional yeast is always available because most people have no idea what it is. Number 12 is dried mushrooms. This is one of those items that sounds fancy, but it is incredibly practical. Dried mushrooms last for years. They are lightweight and compact, and they provide umami flavor that makes bland food taste gourmet. But here is what most preppers do not know. Mushrooms are one of the only plant sources of vitamin D. In a scenario where you are stuck indoors or not getting sunlight, vitamin D deficiency becomes a serious problem. Dried mushrooms help prevent that. I learned about this from a mycologist who studies mushrooms for a living. He told me that shiitake mushrooms, in particular, contain compounds that boost immune function. During a crisis, when medical care might be limited, keeping your immune system strong is critical. The flavor impact is massive. Add a handful of dried mushrooms to soup and suddenly it tastes rich and complex. Rehydrate them and sauté with rice for a savory side dish. Even the soaking water is packed with flavor and nutrients. I keep about 3 pounds of mixed dried mushrooms, shiitake, porcini, and wood ear. It cost me around $40. That is enough to elevate hundreds of meals. Storage is simple. Keep them in airtight containers away from light and moisture. They will last 5 years or more. And during shortages, dried mushrooms sit fully stocked because people do not think of them as survival food. Number 13 is split peas. This is old school survival food that somehow got forgotten. Split peas cook faster than lentils. They do not require soaking, and they break down into a thick, creamy soup naturally. The nutrition is serious. 16 grams of protein per cup, loaded with fiber that keeps you full and packed with vitamins and minerals. But here is what makes split peas perfect for prepping. They are absurdly cheap. I am talking 60 cents per pound at most grocery stores. And they last 10 years or more in proper storage. I made split pea soup during a winter power outage on a camp stove. It took 40 minutes, used minimal fuel, and fed my entire family a thick, hearty meal. The next day, I reheated the leftovers, and they were even better. The starches had thickened it into this rich, stick-to-your-ribs stew. I keep 25 pounds of split peas in sealed buckets. It cost me about $15 total. That is months of protein for the cost of 2 restaurant meals. Storage is straightforward. Keep them in airtight containers in a cool, dry place. They will outlast most of your stockpile. And during shortages, split peas are always available because they are boring. People overlook them completely. I know what you are thinking right now. You've read the list. Popcorn kernels, whole oats, lentils, millet, black salt. And maybe a part of you is skeptical, comparing this list to the standard 3-month supply of rice and beans sitting in your basement. You are wondering, is this really enough? Will a bag of split peas truly make the difference when the supply chains break? Let me address that doubt head on with a concept that defines smart prepping: the power of synergy. It's not about having 13 random items. It's about how these 13 items interact to create a food security system far greater than the sum of its parts. Think about it. Number 1, the cheap, long-lasting popcorn kernels can be ground into flour, but that flour needs protein and structure. Enter number 6, vital wheat gluten, which turns simple cornmeal into a hearty, protein-rich bread or seitan meat. Now that you have a protein and a carb, the meal still tastes like desperation. This is where number 5, bouillon paste, and number 10, canned tomato paste come in. A teaspoon of paste transforms bland millet or boiled oats into a savory, soul-satisfying meal, while the tomato paste brings essential vitamins and umami depth. But what about the quick energy and morale boost? You need number 8, palm sugar for sustained energy, and number 7, black salt, to make that plain tofu or nutritional yeast scramble taste exactly like a comforting breakfast of eggs. And for the ultimate dirt cheap, easy to cook foundation, you have the trifecta: number 4, lentils, number 9, millet, and number 13, split peas. Each cooks in under 25 minutes, saving precious fuel, and together they provide a complete, rotation-proof protein base. The final pieces are the insurance policies. Number 3, pickling salt, ensuring you can preserve anything you forage or harvest. And number 12, dried mushrooms, delivering vital vitamin D and deep, earthy flavor when you are tired of everything else. This isn't just a pantry, it's a self-sustaining ecosystem built on resilience, nutrient density, and psychological comfort, all for a fraction of the price of mainstream prepper kits. The traditional prepper stocks for a disaster. The smart prepper stocks for long-term life after the disaster, ensuring every single calorie is delicious, highly nutritious, and sustainable. This is the paradigm shift you need. Stop buying what everyone else buys. Start buying what works. Look, here is the truth. The best prepper foods are not the ones on every survival blog. They are the ones that are cheap, versatile, packed with nutrition, and that nobody else is buying. These 13 staples have been quietly sitting in my stockpile for years, and they will still be there when everything else is gone. If this opened your eyes to some new options, smash that like button and subscribe for more unconventional survival strategies that actually work. Drop a comment and tell me which of these 13 you are stocking up on first. Next week, I am breaking down the biggest prepping mistakes that could get you killed. You do not want to miss it.